the speech that I had come to deliver, I threw away about halfway through this program. You've been treated to at least 7 brilliant statements and sets of remarks. And then I took some notes, and just recently, I don't need these anymore either. They've been used up. So how about a keynote speech that is not a keynote speech? What I would like to do, Brother Tambor, if I may, is could I be the keynote speaker at the 6th dinner of the Douglass-Debs? Because, be honest, everything has been said that ought to be said. I could say it again. But I am so moved by the energy and the commitment that we brought into this place tonight. It is something, and I travel around the country, that is just remarkable. We've got to duplicate that. We've got to let other people know that it's not only rewarding, and I don't mean to trivialize it, but it's fun to be working in the struggle, isn't it? Don't you enjoy this, what we're doing? And it's in that spirit that I want to get out to the movement in Atlanta on the streets where everybody else is. Occupy. You see, this is going on all over the country. I was trying to get there earlier with my dear friend that is with me tonight, but we couldn't find a place, so I said, well, we'll go afterward. But what we're doing here today is being replicated all over. Now, the big question is whether we're going to take it somewhere beyond a protest. This is the beginning steps, and it's critical. And it's come together because there's a global recognition among people that this system, this capitalist system, is broken and may be nearly unrepairable because the regulatory forces in the government are not willing to step up to the plate. And as long as that's the case, the brokers, the traders in derivatives, the people that are inventing mechanisms of trade, that there aren't any regulations for them because the regulators in Washington don't even know what they're doing. And so we are at a turning point. And I often think of the one person that influenced my life more than even my father, a UAW international representative out of Chrysler Corporation in Detroit when they first organized. And that's a clergyman, Martin Luther King Jr. The more I learned about him and Abernathy, and at that time, Julian Bond and Lowry and Joseph Lowry, this great guy, and Fred Shuttlesworth, who just departed last week from this planet. The more I began to understand that this struggle is in some respects just as dangerous as the early civil rights people who every time they talked about integrating or protesting, they were taking their lives in their own hands. John Lewis, for example, and a lot of others who weren't even known we'll never know who they were. And most of them were young. Martin was 26 years old when he started out, and he was called in and succeeded Ralph Abernathy in that struggle. I was in law school, and when I went down there, it's a funny thing. When I went down there, I never realized how richly I would be repaid as a young lawyer representing people that were being jailed most frequently in Mississippi. I seemed to end up there. But here's how these things come around. When I first ran for office after the redistricting of 1964, or well, it was a little before that, actually, the redistricting, I am the only member of Congress, and I love all of my brothers from Georgia here, but I'm the only person that Martin Luther King has ever endorsed for Congress. And that came about because I met Rosa Parks and Martin and Coretta and the kids. And when he came up to Central Methodist Church with Reverend Ed Rowe on Woodward at Grand Circus Park, I wore that endorsement on my forehead for the rest of the campaign, and I won by 128 votes, my very first election. Now, if that wasn't providential and the work of Martin, then I don't know what was. And so there's a reward in this. There is something even greater than the brotherhood and sisterhood we share here tonight. We're helping make America the democracy that it has yet to become. And that makes you national. In some sense, it makes you international, because everybody's watching to see what we're doing and where we're falling short. And there are political disappointments and setbacks, but you know, in the end, we're all political. Everything is political. Your school, your church, your home, your neighborhood, your job. What isn't? And so what we have to do is bring the best that we can to it. And when you have people like Hank Johnson and John Lewis, boy, you're working with some people who are putting themselves right on the line. And this is the way I look at what's going to happen between now and next November. This is going to be the most important 12 months in American history in the 21st century for sure. But I want to be invited back then to be the keynote speaker. I'm just, I hope, laying a predicate, because I want to continue to get to know all of you. It's amazing how many people have come up, Milt, tonight to say I was with you 2 years ago at this and that, the other place, and I pretend like I remember all of this. But it's so heartwarming. And so I love you all, and I'll begin preparing my remarks for next year. Thank you very much.